Fari. Where are you? Wait.
Good
Fari?
morning, Fari.
What?
Hey, Fari, it's Joel
What
and
time is it?
Dennis.
Are you sleeping, Fari?
All right.
Oh, we
Hold
caught him
on.
sleeping in.
Relax.
Relax.
Relax with that.
What? He wants to call
It
you
was.
back?
It was. What else should one do right before New Year's?
Don't you like getting woken
Hold on
up
one
by
second.
Dennis and Joel live on
It
pre-market
was
draft?
just. It was 7:10. I looked at the clock. Now it's 7:30. All right. Go ahead,
It's
shoot.
7:37 now. It's Fari time. Wake up, Fari. This is new. We're already partying for New Year's Eve here, right early in the morning at
Oh, I
8:37
bet.
Eastern.
All right.
All right. So
What's going on, guys?
we'll take
What's going on with your with the Twitter?
Could you believe Microsoft is buying them out at 55? Can you believe it, Fari? Can you believe Microsoft
What?
is paying
He's
55
trying
bucks?
to, he's trying to pull a fast one on you there, Fari.
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
All right, fine. Let's we'll take.
What are your thoughts on Twitter?
Yeah, let's go on. I know. Yeah, shake out the cobwebs. What are you thinking about Twitter here?
Well, I told you guys around 35, I'll be comfortable. We're getting close. Levels are getting close there. You got a 2 sigma, negative 2 sigma there around, I think, I'll bring the chart up. 30, I think 35 or 35 and a half. And then there's a OTF level around 50 cents below that. Whether it'll subside there and start to base, maybe a little bit too soon because of its first try there in a while. But, I would be interested to nibble in. The better chances to go in on a second try.
Okay, all right. I mean, I think he's far.
When you have like a second test, failure.
Yeah, well, Fari's making
Does that make sense?
a good. Well, no, you've made this point before, and I think Dennis and I try and talk about it as well. Is that sometimes you get setups and they don't work the first time, they don't work maybe the second time, or even the third time. But if you're playing them with a good risk reward ratio and good parameters
And size.
yeah, and good size. I mean, sometimes if you're playing it, hey, you're gonna test the waters, and I mean, I could think of several trades or several trade setups that didn't work out, but I was confident in them, and then eventually when I did hit them, it got it all back. So I mean, you've been talking about, you said 34, 36 a long time ago. I mean, here it is at the end of the year. You probably have some people puking it out, right? Because it's been a year since the IPO, and they're like, man, if this thing, they saw it run up, was it to 75 and change? Was the all-time high?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's back down, so you got some people probably thrown in the towel here. Actually, 74.73 was the all-time high. Hit 34.62 yesterday. Couple lows in that area. No, we hit 35.46 yesterday, but the recent
there was no 34 yesterday.
Yeah, so okay.
35.
Yeah, what about just market here? Let's go just general market. Fari S&P's 8 points away from the all-time high. What I have noticed, and I'd like to get your take on this. We just had that wicked rebound here in December. But now what you're having is you're having consolidation of ranges. And when I got back from my vacation, I was looking at the average daily range in the SPOOs. It was 34.
Give you vacations over there? Okay.
Yeah, well, you took a
That's
week
all
off.
benefit.
Yeah.
You actually get benefit. You actually get vacation.
It's an unpaid
That's
vacation.
awesome. Okay.
Unpaid vacation. And now the average daily ranges are really consolidating. Now it's under 20. And is that the buyers and sellers just coming to meet up each other a little bit, or waiting for another burst of the upside, or you think you might see some profit taking early next year?
It's year end. You don't have any energy. I mean, the indicators are begin to turn. It doesn't mean the price is going to immediately turn, but the momentum and energy got sucked out completely. If you look at what's the range the last 5 days, it's been like 2 points. Yesterday we had a bigger range, but 2 points, 3 points, 4 points max. We can hardly even see it on the charts. Where about 4 days prior to that, we did, let's see, 57. We had about 100 points in 4 days. Okay? So The year end is just no volume, and I think expectations have subsided. We're not going to see 2100 today. We can't go there. No, not. We're up 3 handle now. That's quite a bit to go from here. There's no volume here, and there's no energy to go there. But obviously the turn came from a Fed day was on the 17th, right? It came on the Wednesday. It's just that a lot of people were shooting for 2100. I was looking back in October when we came back up. I said possibly 2100 to be done. We're not going to make it. But the energy is gone. I think trade-wise either way. The next big event, short of exogenous news, short of oil or ruble, is the earnings coming. And this time the earnings are going to be interesting because of the very strong dollar. And now some of it will hit, a little bit will hit this quarter, but I think you're going to see, Mr. and Mrs. Board member of, at least outside board member of each board telling their CEOs and CFOs to guide down. Be careful. I don't think you're going to see a huge, strong guidance. Why? It just Safe Harbor Act. I think they'd rather moving forward beat the numbers than to show too much of a rosy picture here. I don't think you're going to see everybody jumping in there and say, "Oh, oil is coming down," and so there'll be more retail spending and this and that, and we're going to make a lot of money. I think they'll be guiding it carefully because also a lot of stocks are at the all-time highs.
Speaking of crude here, we started breaking down to new lows again on crude. What are you thinking in the new year? Sometimes what you see is this January effect that actually the stocks that were weak or individual, it's crude in this instance, has been weak all year. Sometimes you see a reversal of the previous year's trend in January. Do you see that potentially happening in crude? Like I was noting that some of these oil stocks, the individual stocks, have not sold off despite the crude's weakness the last few days. Do you think we could be setting up for a reversal in crude and maybe it has a decent January?
It could be. Sometimes, usually the stocks of the oil companies react a little bit better than crude itself does. And, it's a little bit easier to push the individual crude futures versus, the multitude of the stocks in it and also market cap-wise. Even, there's a lot of these oils were widely held. A lot have been flushed out. A lot of people have gotten out, but still, the quality of market cap is hidden there. It's sitting in there. But I just don't think we are nearing the base here on crude. The other day I wrote on Twitter, I said 50 is in play, and you can't rule out 45. We can't just drop 40, 20. It's not going to work like that. It's percentages. There's so much you can drop. I mean, between 50 and 45, that's 10%. We're not going to drop all of a sudden 10%.
Right. Yeah.
So that I think you're going to see slowly the drops will slow down. The good test, you just brought up, good test is to see how the stocks are doing it, the stocks in that sector. I think you're going to see some divisions of that sector much bigger trouble, like XOP, the drilling spider.
Yeah.
You're going to see a few of those guys filing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The weaker ones will. That has a lot of members in there. The top 10 names are about 17% of the index. So it's a very well diversified name, but Tesoro, Marathon, let's see, Valero, these guys probably survived decently. You're going to have a few names that have gone to file. A third of drillers in the UK are ready to file. They got really bad balance sheets as a result of where we are. That's not going to. The U.S. names are not protected either. They'll be in trouble too.
Hey, Fari, you mentioned the
So,
stock there. You mentioned the stock there that Dennis and I were talking about. Tesoro, TSO, Tesoro
right.
Corporation. Now this thing is hanging out near all-time highs. What are they doing to be immune from this sell-off in the crude market?
Well, first of all, it's a top holder. Oh, I think it's 2% of XOP. I don't know internally. I have no clue what they're doing. That's something worth looking into. But
Okay.
if you look at it, they're trading at 75.39. Yeah, it's fairly close to all-time high. 2 sigma on monthly. That's very strong. 1 sigma on. It's come down slightly, but recently, about 4, 5, 6 days ago, it made another try at all-time high. It's on plus 1 sigma on the weekly. The short term is a little bit under pressure, but recently it's tried to go out there and match November highs. It had a huge run up in October, huge run up in November, and then it subsided here. But I don't know what's inside going on. It's probably news related. Maybe there could be they shed some asset ahead of it. But the store has always been a fairly good run company. Look at Valero, VLL.
Okay.
Now, compared to that, Valero, I think the second big name or third big name there on the Spider. Look, compared to that, we're at 20-day on a monthly. It has really come back. The peak on that local peak recently, for the last several years, came in around April of this. I'm sorry, in May of this year. So you could see the comparison how it has shown weakness.
Okay,
So
I
would look at my relative performance while I'm doing my homework while I do a little table, for example, saying, if I don't know them, let's see chart-wise, momentum-wise, where are we price and momentum, where we are, and then, hey, this one like this sort of looks stronger. All right, time to dig into the news. Time to dig into their fundamental. Time to dig into see maybe they have a better balance sheet. Maybe their debt is very low. There's a number of reasons why investors as a whole are voting that way.
Okay, one more for you, Fari, before we let you go. Do you got enough data on Twitter, not Twitter, Alibaba here? We were talking about that just wicked consolidation here. I know you like to get some more data before you start analyzing things. You got any closing thoughts here on Alibaba?
It's consolidating here. Don't have weekly enough data.
Okay.
We have a lot of daily, but daily is so suppressed because the way it is traded in such a short range. Let's say in the last 20, 25 days.
Okay.
It was having decent range and direction, all the way up to about middle of November. Since then, it kind of shut down slowly. And if you come into about December 1st on, we've been in a fairly tight range. So, just again, no weekly data that's worth anything, but on a daily, we're actually in a slight downward movement, momentum-wise. So I think maybe you'll see a drift here. Is this going to be? Let's see. This will be the second report, right? Yeah, I think they've already reported once.
Yep. You're
Looks
correct.
to me because they've been there almost 90 days. A little bit over 90 days right now. Okay, so they probably recently reported. They're going to probably report what in March, if I'm right. I don't know when they're going to report, but somewhere in there or February maybe they'll report. I think by then you will have a little bit more weekly data. But what I worry about is the range. The range daily is very tight, very, very tight. So when volatility drops like that, what happens? It gets ready, it's coiled up, it's ready to explode again. So somewhere in here is going to be some sort of event where the stock is going to react. Which way it's going to go, I don't know.
Okay.
Right now, the signal we have is very close to zero. It is a momentum. So it's, when you're at a CI near zero, it's a toss-up. It's easily, you can read this positive or negative because it's so close to zero. It can turn either way. So there's no clear configuration here.
No,
Hope that helps.
not always trying to pick a top and bottom. Sometimes the sideline's a good place to be. Fari Hamzei,
Sure.
founder of Hamzei Analytics, he joins our show every Wednesday, bringing his wealth of knowledge on aggressive equity, options, and index futures trend. Fari, thank you so much for joining us this year. You've added a lot to our show. Our listeners enjoy your knowledge and your humor, and we're looking forward to conversing with you in 2015.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to all.
Okay.
Thanks, Fari.